Costco is one of the most dangerous stores in America. Not because the food is bad, not because the prices are always bad, but because Costco has mastered something very few stores can do. It makes massive portions feel like smart decisions. You walk in for paper towels and somehow you leave with a giant pizza, a chicken bake, a tray of muffins, a 48-ounce tub of yogurt, 3 pounds of meatballs, and enough granola to survive a winter storm. And the whole time you're thinking, this is such a good deal. But that's the trap. Because at Costco, the question is not just, is this cheap? The real question is, am I actually going to use this in a way that helps me? Some Costco foods are genuinely great. They're affordable, practical, filling, and easy to build meals around. But others are the kind of foods that look like bargains until you realize they're loaded with sodium, sugar, saturated fat, or just way too many calories for something people treat like a quick snack. So today, we're going through 11 Costco foods you may want to avoid, or at least stop buying on autopilot. And then at the end, we'll flip it around and look at 6 Costco foods that are actually great. This is not medical advice. It's not saying you can never eat these foods, and it's definitely not saying one slice of pizza ruins your life. But if you shop at Costco often, these are the foods where the value can be misleading. Let's start with number 11. Number 11, prepared deli items during recalls. This one is different from the rest of the list. Most foods in this video are here because of nutrition, portion size, or how easy they are to overeat. But prepared deli foods are here because of food safety. Costco sells a lot of ready-to-eat foods: deli meals, salads, wraps, meal kits, party trays, prepared pasta dishes, and refrigerated items that are designed to save time. And most of the time, that convenience is exactly why people buy them. The problem is that ready-to-eat foods have one extra risk. You may not cook them again at home. If something raw is contaminated, cooking it properly can help reduce the risk. But if something is already prepared and meant to be eaten cold or reheated lightly, you're relying heavily on the supply chain, the packaging, the storage temperature, and the recall system. That does not mean Costco deli foods are automatically bad. But before you grab prepared foods in bulk, especially anything refrigerated and ready to eat, it is worth checking Costco's recall page and paying attention to emails or notices if you bought something recently. The bigger the package, the bigger the risk if something gets recalled after you already served it. So this is not avoid forever, it's more like this. Do not treat prepared deli foods as completely risk-free just because they came from Costco. Convenience is great, but with prepared foods, awareness matters. Number 10. Kirkland Ancient Grains Granola. Granola is one of those foods that sounds healthy before you even look at the label. Ancient grains, organic, clusters, whole grain, real ingredients. It feels like something that belongs next to Greek yogurt and fruit, and to be fair, granola can absolutely fit into a balanced diet. But Costco granola has the classic Costco problem. The bag is huge, the serving size is smaller than people think, and it is extremely easy to pour twice as much as you meant to. That is where granola becomes dangerous. A small sprinkle on yogurt can be fine, but a bowl of granola eaten like cereal can become a heavy meal before you even add milk, fruit, or anything else. And many granolas include added sweeteners, oils, and calorie-dense ingredients. They may not look like dessert, but they can behave like dessert if the portion gets out of control. This is especially tricky because people often eat granola with a health halo. You would probably measure candy. You might not measure granola. And that's why this belongs on the avoid list. Not because granola is evil, but because at Costco size, it becomes one of the easiest foods to overeat, and still feel like you made the healthy choice. If you buy it, use it like a topping, not the main event. Number 9. Kirkland Rotisserie Chicken, if you are watching sodium. Now this one is controversial. Costco's rotisserie chicken is iconic. It is cheap, convenient, high in protein, and for a lot of families, it is one of the best deals in the entire warehouse. So why is it on this list? Sodium. The problem is not that rotisserie chicken is junk food. Compared to a lot of prepared meals, it can be a useful shortcut. The issue is that many people treat it like plain chicken, but it is not the same as roasting an unseasoned chicken at home. It is seasoned, processed for flavor, and designed to stay juicy and consistent. That usually means more sodium than people expect. If you are healthy, active, and not watching sodium, this may not be a major concern. But if you have high blood pressure, heart concerns, or you're trying to lower sodium, this is one of those Costco foods where the healthy protein label can hide the catch. And the way people use it can make the sodium add up quickly. Rotisserie chicken in a sandwich. Rotisserie chicken in soup. Rotisserie chicken with packaged sauce. Rotisserie chicken in a salty casserole. Suddenly, the shortcut becomes part of a high-sodium meal. So the smart move is not necessarily to avoid it completely. The smart move is to know what it is. It is convenient protein, not plain chicken. If you buy it, pair it with lower sodium sides, vegetables, rice, potatoes, or homemade meals where you control the rest of the salt. Number 8. Kirkland Italian-style beef meatballs. Costco meatballs are dangerously practical. They're frozen, easy to heat, good for parties, good for pasta, good for sandwiches, and good for those nights when nobody wants to cook. That is exactly why they can become a problem. Because meatballs almost never travel alone. Nobody eats 3 meatballs and calls it dinner. They go with pasta, sauce, cheese, garlic bread, maybe a salad if you're lucky. And by the time the meal is built, the calories, saturated fat, and sodium can climb very quickly. The meatballs themselves may not look shocking on a small serving, but Costco is not designed around small servings. It is designed around convenience and volume. That big frozen bag makes it easy to turn meatballs into a default meal over and over again. And with processed frozen meats, the 2 things to watch are usually sodium and saturated fat. Again, this is not saying meatballs are forbidden. But if these become a weekly dinner shortcut, it is worth asking what the whole plate looks like. If the meal is meatballs, pasta, jarred sauce, cheese, and bread, that is a very different dinner than meatballs with vegetables, a modest portion of pasta, and a lighter sauce. The food itself is not the only issue. The Costco-sized habit is the issue. Number 7. Costco bakery muffins. Costco muffins look like breakfast. They are not breakfast. They are cake wearing a breakfast costume. These muffins are huge, sweet, dense, and easy to justify because they are sold in the bakery section instead of the dessert aisle. But nutritionally, many of them behave much more like dessert. Depending on the flavor and version, a Costco muffin can carry hundreds of calories and a lot of sugar and fat. And the real issue is the way people eat them. A muffin feels like one serving because it is one item. But one Costco muffin can carry hundreds of calories and a lot of sugar and fat. And the real issue is the way people eat them. A muffin feels like one serving because it is one item, but one Costco muffin can be closer to a jumbo dessert than a normal breakfast pastry. And that creates a psychological trap. If someone eats a big slice of cake for breakfast, they know what they're doing. But if they eat a muffin, it feels reasonable. That is why muffins are one of the sneakiest foods at Costco. The value is great if you are feeding a crowd or splitting them into portions, but buying a large pack for a small household can turn into several days of dessert for breakfast. If you love them, split them, freeze them, share them, cut them in half. Just don't pretend a giant chocolate muffin is the same thing as a balanced breakfast. Number 6. Frozen Kirkland chicken bakes. The food court chicken bake gets a lot of attention, but Costco also sells frozen chicken bakes that people can keep at home, and that makes them even more convenient, which also makes them easier to overuse. A chicken bake sounds like a meal. Chicken, cheese, bacon, dough, sauce. It is filling, warm, and easy, but it can also be a heavy, salty, calorie-dense food that turns into a default lunch because it is sitting in the freezer waiting for you. The problem is that frozen convenience meals rarely feel as heavy as they are. You don't sit down thinking, I'm eating a restaurant-style item. You think, I'm just heating something up. But a frozen chicken bake is still a big wrapped meal built around bread, cheese, meat, sauce, and sodium. That doesn't make it evil, but it makes it a food to use carefully. If you eat one occasionally, fine. But if your freezer is full of them and they become a routine work-from-home lunch, that is where the Costco deal starts working against you. Convenience is powerful, and Costco sells convenience in bulk. Before we move into the top 5, if you like videos that break down the foods, stores, and restaurant deals people buy every day, make sure to subscribe. This channel looks at the products that are actually worth it, the ones that might be overrated, and the everyday food choices that can quietly cost you more than you think. And stick around, because after the worst Costco foods, we're also going through the items that are actually great buys. Number 5. Kirkland Frozen Cheese Pizza. Frozen pizza is one of the most practical foods in any Costco freezer. It is cheap per serving. It feeds people quickly. It tastes familiar. And for families, it can be a lifesaver on busy nights. But it still belongs on this list because pizza is one of the easiest foods to underestimate. The serving size is usually smaller than what people actually eat. A label might talk about a fraction of the pizza, but in real life, people often eat more than that. especially if it's dinner and there are no filling sides. Then add soda, ranch, wings, breadsticks, or dessert, and the meal becomes much heavier than planned. Frozen cheese pizza also has the same problem as food court pizza: refined crust, lots of cheese, sodium, and a portion size that can quietly expand. The smart version is simple. If you buy it, don't let it be the entire meal. Add a salad. Add vegetables. Add protein if needed. Treat pizza as part of the plate, not the whole plate. And if you know your household will burn through the whole box in 2 days, the value might not be as good as it looks. A cheap pizza is not cheap if it turns into a habit you didn't mean to build. Number 4. Costco Food Court Double Chocolate Chunk Cookie. This cookie is ridiculous, and that is why people love it. It is huge, warm, chocolatey, rich, and exactly the kind of thing that looks impossible to pass up after walking through Costco for an hour. But this is not a normal cookie. This is a giant dessert disguised as a single food court item. The problem is that it comes as one cookie, so your brain sees one serving, but it is big enough that many people would be better off treating it like something to split. A few bites after shopping. Fine. Eating the whole thing on top of a hot dog, pizza slice, or chicken bake, that can turn a quick Costco stop into a massive meal before you even get home. And this is one of the best examples of Costco's portion size magic. They do not just sell food, they sell big food. And big food can make normal eating decisions harder. So if you want the cookie, split it. Take half home. Share it. Treat it like dessert. Just don't treat it like a casual little snack. Number 3. Costco Food Court Hot Dog. The Costco hot dog is one of the most famous deals in America. The price has become part of Costco's identity. And to be fair, as a value item, it is almost unbeatable. But nutritionally, this is where value gets complicated. The hot dog is large, processed, high in sodium, high in saturated fat, and often paired with a soda. That does not mean you can never eat one. But it does mean the hot dog is not just a harmless little bargain. The danger is how easy it is to add it to a trip. You didn't plan lunch. You didn't plan a big meal. You just finished shopping and there it is, one of the cheapest meals anywhere. That is the power of the Costco food court. It makes a high-sodium, high-calorie meal feel like a reward for saving money. And that is why the hot dog belongs near the top of the avoid list. Not because it is expensive, because it is too easy, too iconic, too convenient, and too easy to turn into a routine. If you eat it once in a while, enjoy it. But if every Costco trip ends with a hot dog and soda, that bargain may be costing more than you think. Number 2. Costco Food Court Cheese Pizza Slice. Costco pizza is another legendary value. The slices are huge, the price is low, and the cheese pull is exactly what people want from food court pizza. But a single slice can be a lot more food than people realize. This is not a small slice from a regular pizza. This is a giant Costco slice. It can be high in calories, saturated fat, and sodium, and it is very easy to pair with soda, a cookie, or another food court item. Pizza is one of those foods where the first few bites feel amazing, and then portion control disappears. And because Costco pizza is so cheap, the normal price signal is gone. At a regular restaurant, a huge meal might make you pause because of the cost. At Costco, it feels like a deal. That is what makes it dangerous. The food court is built around value. But value does not automatically mean balance. If you love the pizza, the easiest fix is to split a slice, pair it with something lighter, or avoid making it your automatic post-shopping meal. But if you are trying to eat better, this is one of the first Costco habits I would look at. Number 1. Costco Food Court Chicken Bake. The chicken bake is probably the ultimate Costco looks like a meal, acts like a calorie bomb item. It has chicken, cheese, bacon, Caesar-style dressing, and dough all wrapped into one portable food court package. It is warm, salty, filling, and easy to eat in the car, but it is also one of the heaviest food court choices. Depending on the listing, one chicken bake can deliver a huge amount of sodium, a lot of calories, and a serious amount of saturated fat. And unlike pizza, where people instantly know they are eating something indulgent, the chicken bake has a strange health halo because it has chicken in the name. Chicken sounds like protein. Protein sounds healthy. But this is not grilled chicken and vegetables. This is chicken wrapped in bread, cheese, bacon, dressing, and salt. It is engineered to taste good. And it does. But if we are talking about Costco foods to avoid buying regularly, this is number 1, because it combines every Costco trap in one item. Big portion, high sodium, heavy ingredients, cheap food court convenience, and the feeling that it is more of a meal than a treat. If you love the chicken bake, enjoy it once in a while. But if you are trying to make better Costco choices, this is not the item I would build a habit around. Now, after all of that, it would be unfair to act like Costco is only full of traps, because Costco also sells some genuinely excellent foods. So let's look at 6 Costco foods that are actually great. Number 6. Walnuts, pumpkin seeds, and simple nuts or seeds. Costco is one of the best places to buy nuts and seeds if you choose carefully. The key word is carefully. You want simple versions: walnuts, almonds, pumpkin seeds, or mixed nuts that are not candy-coated and not loaded with sugary flavoring. These are calorie-dense, so portion size still matters. But unlike a giant muffin or a food court cookie, nuts and seeds bring healthy fats, minerals, fiber, and plant-based protein. They are useful in real meals: a small handful with Greek yogurt, pumpkin seeds on oatmeal, walnuts in a salad, almonds as a snack. The trick is to portion them. Do not eat directly from the giant Costco bag. That is how a healthy food becomes a 1,000-calorie accident. But used correctly, nuts and seeds are one of the smartest Costco buys. Number 5. Canned beans, lentils, and tomatoes. This is the boring Costco food that can quietly save your diet and your budget. Beans, lentils, and canned tomatoes are not exciting. They do not go viral. Nobody walks into Costco just to brag about canned lentils. But these are exactly the kinds of foods that help people cook more real meals at home. They are shelf-stable, affordable, filling, and useful in soups, chili, pasta, rice bowls, tacos, and salads. Beans and lentils bring fiber and plant-based protein. Tomatoes help build sauces and soups without relying entirely on packaged meals. And unlike many Costco snacks, these foods do not depend on willpower in the same way. You are probably not going to accidentally binge a can of chickpeas while watching TV. That is what makes them great. They support better habits instead of testing your self-control. Number 4. Frozen vegetables. Frozen vegetables are one of the best Costco buys because they solve a real problem. Fresh vegetables are great, but they spoil. And when food spoils, people stop buying it. Frozen vegetables remove that excuse. They are ready when you are ready. They work in stir-fries, soups, pasta, eggs, rice bowls, sheet pan dinners, and side dishes. They also make convenience meals better. If you are going to eat frozen pizza, add vegetables on the side. If you are making meatballs, add vegetables. If you are eating a quick chicken meal, add vegetables. Costco's freezer section can be dangerous, but it can also be useful. If you build meals instead of just reheating heavy entrees. Frozen vegetables are not flashy, but they are one of the easiest ways to turn Costco into a healthier store. Number 3. Kirkland 3-Berry Blend. The Kirkland 3-Berry Blend is one of those products that makes sense for almost everyone. It is frozen fruit, so it lasts. It works in smoothies, oatmeal, yogurt bowls, desserts, and sauces. And because it is fruit, it brings fiber, color, and natural sweetness without needing to rely on candy, syrups, or pastries. This is the kind of Costco bulk buy that actually fits real life. You do not have to worry about berries going moldy in 2 days. You do not have to wash them. You do not have to plan perfectly. You just keep them in the freezer and use what you need. That is exactly what Costco is good at when the product is right. Bulk only helps when the food supports your habits. Frozen berries do that. Number 2. Kirkland Wild Alaskan Salmon. Salmon is one of the strongest Costco foods because it gives you something Costco does very well: quality protein at a better value. Whether fresh, frozen, or canned, salmon can be a smart buy if you actually use it. It is high in protein, it works in many meals, and it brings omega-3 fats that many people do not get enough of. The key is to avoid turning it into a heavy restaurant-style meal every time. You do not need a cream sauce, a giant side of buttery pasta, and a mountain of sodium. Keep it simple. Salmon with rice and vegetables, salmon salad, salmon tacos, canned salmon patties, a quick salmon bowl. This is one of the Costco foods that can help you eat better without feeling like you are sacrificing. And that is why it belongs near the top of the great list. Number 1. Kirkland Organic Greek Non-Fat Yogurt. If I had to pick one Costco food that almost perfectly matches what Costco should be used for, it would be Kirkland Greek yogurt. It is simple. It is high in protein. It is versatile. It can be breakfast, snack, sauce base, smoothie ingredient, or dessert base. And because it is plain, you control what goes into it. That is the biggest difference between a smart Costco food and a Costco trap. A trap food controls the meal for you. A smart food gives you options. Greek yogurt can become a high-protein breakfast with berries and a small amount of granola. It can become a dip with herbs and seasoning. It can replace sour cream in some meals. It can thicken smoothies. It can help you build something filling without relying on ultra-sweet snacks. Of course, the tub is large, so only buy it if your household will finish it. But if you actually use it, this is one of the best Costco buys in the store. So here's the real lesson. Costco is not bad. Costco is powerful. It rewards people who have a plan, and it punishes people who shop hungry, buy massive portions without thinking, and confuse value with health. The best Costco foods are the ones that help you build meals: yogurt, berries, salmon, vegetables, beans, nuts, and seeds. The worst Costco foods are often the ones that feel like bargains but quietly become habits. Giant food court items, jumbo bakery desserts, frozen convenience meals, and bulk snacks that are way too easy to overeat. So next time you walk into Costco, ask yourself one question. Is this actually helping my life? Or is it just big, cheap, and hard to resist? Because at Costco, that difference matters. If this video helped you think differently about what you buy at Costco, make sure to subscribe for more videos about grocery stores, food chains, restaurant deals, and the everyday products that are actually worth your money. Which Costco food do you think people should avoid? And which one is actually worth buying every time? Let me know in the comments.